Hi, everyone. And I decided this week to do a reading for each element. So fire, earth, air, and water, and that's the order I will go in. And I'm using the Steampunk Tarot by Barbara Moore. I just want to let you know that the July readings are up. I did a general reading and a separate love reading for each sign. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start with fire signs. This one had popped out and on the top of the bunch of cards that came out that I said there were too many to take. So the Three of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, this is a card about teamwork. You can sort of see there's like there's the person actually doing, right? It's kind of funny. There's a tarot card reader here and there's sort of someone reading the plans. So everyone sort of has their different role to play in certain, whether it's at work or at home. And sometimes it's quite clear what the role is. For example, at work, if you're hired to be a teller at a bank, you know that your role is to be a teller. That's the scope. It can get sort of very muddled at home because there are gender stereotypes for who should be doing what in the home, and all sorts of things like that. So it may be a good week to sort of look at all the things that need to be done in whatever situation it's in and really go over who is responsible for it. See if anyone has, if anyone prefers, like I like to mow the lawn. So I might say, hey, I like to mow the lawn. So, and if the other person likes to mow the lawn, maybe you guys take turns. And do you both hate doing the dishes? Well, you may have to devise some sort of system that feels fair to both people so that tasks can get done. And, I always find out without clearly defining who's responsible for what, either two people are doing the same task, no one's doing the task, or someone's always doing it and resents the hell out of the person that never does it. You know what I mean? So it might be a good week to reassess things like that. And also, in the workplace, really, are you fulfilling the role that you're supposed to be doing? And those types of things. But it's usually a positive card. It can often mean that you're being evaluated and assessed for maybe a promotion or a raise or things like that. So it's generally a very positive card. There is a lot of evaluation, a lot of reflection, inner reflection, trying to sort some things out this week. So we have the Hermit. And I always like to think like the light in the Hermit's lantern is his guiding light. So he takes all the information that he's gathered over his lifetime, and that can come from studies, life experience, religion, what his parents taught him, what society tells him, all the knowledge he's gathered, and he sort of takes all that information and withdraws, goes with it and retreats and figures out, well, what do I think? I know what they think. I know what my religion I grew up with tells me. I know what my parents think. I know what the school I went to thinks. I know what the political climate in my area thinks. I know, you know what I mean? But what do I think? What's my guiding light? What are my morals and ethics? And putting that together and really figuring out how you want to conduct yourself in the world going forward. And it's like, while you're assessing that, like you're assessing roles and who does what and what do I feel is, my role in my life and how I conduct myself. And then it's like, and how do I want to expend my energy? Once I've sort of figured that out, Am I expending my energy in the proper places? Am I spending time in things that I think are priorities for me, for my life, that I think are important, that I think um, are things that should I should expend energy on? And what maybe am I expending energy on because society tells me I should, or I was raised that way, or those types of things. But this is a really good, I mean, this is a really good week to think about these things. Like, am I spending all this energy helping someone who never helps me back, or who just, who's a taker, who's an energy vampire, who, those types of things? Is this something do I feel obligated to be on the parent teacher association because I worry about what other people think? Do I truly have any passion? Do I have any knowledge? Do I even have any business being on there? Like, am I contributing, or would my time be better spent elsewhere? Where do you shine? Where are your true interests as opposed to obligations? Because not all obligations are really truly obligations. They're almost like we feel guilty, or we feel like society tells us we should, or someone else wanted us to. And then the Ten of Pentacles is all about legacy. So there's sort of this big theme about, like, how do I want to present myself to the world? What kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? Does my work mean something? Am I really having a meaningful relationship with my family? Where do I need to step up? And where do I need to sort of renegotiate things in those areas? Maybe you need to ask for a raise. Wait, I really contribute a lot in this job, and I don't feel like I'm compensated. I feel like I go above and beyond, and I'm really doing a lot. Those types of ideas. It's a beautiful card about legacy, about work you're putting in now really paying off in the long term, in the long run. You're working hard this week, and that's maybe what it is. I'm working so hard, maybe I'm a little drained. I need to reassess things and make sure I don't burn out. I'm not burning myself out. And then you could also be meeting with, like, extended family. And this deals with, like, inheritance. My parents are still alive, but they're like, oh, would you be interested in, now I can't think of darn thing, like this grandfather clock that they have. You know what I mean? Like, what do you like? Asking me and my brothers what we might be interested in, and things like that. Planning for the future, planning for the long run, opening a retirement account, planting the seeds that will last potentially generations, making sure you have a power of attorney, and oh my God, I work in healthcare, and this always goes out of my mind. Making advance directives, things like that, so that your family's taken care of. Should eventually something's going to happen to all of us, right? So making sure our family is taken care of by planning ahead. But where do you want to expend your energy? What role do you play? What role do other people play? That's sort of an interesting theme that's coming up. Okay, so we're going to move on to the earth signs. I'm going to shuffle. This can be loud, so if you have headphones. Okay, so far 2 fire wand cards out for the earth signs. So some of you, we got a bonus card. Interesting. Oh wow. Okay, these two cards together, you got the Eight of Cups at the bottom of the deck and the Ten of Wands. Some of you, there's some part of your life where you are overburdened and you are sick of putting so much energy and effort in, and you need to lighten your load. And it's going to require you to walk away from something. I can't put any more energy into this. And I need to lighten my load and move on to something else entirely. And that's why I like to think about this card. I always picture this card. It's a little bit of different depiction. She doesn't look quite as overburdened as like the Rider-Waite, but like dropping all these wands on the ground, like I'm done, just like throwing them down and then really examining them and saying, okay, which of these wands is really mine to carry? That's my grown child's, that's their burden to carry. That's my significant other's issues with something that happened to them in the past. Codependent no more. That's theirs to deal with and carry. That's someone that, you know, in this community that decided to volunteer. Someone at work, it says, instead of volunteer, you're voluntold to do things. Like, don't be voluntold to do things you absolutely don't have to do. And then lightning and just picking back up what is truly necessary, what is truly your burden to carry. And you're going to have to stick up for yourself. This is going to be a quick reading. This is very clear. Defending yourself without being defensive. I'm sorry, Miss, you know, person who likes to talk and volunteer everyone else that doesn't do shit herself or himself. Like, no, no is a complete sentence. No, I can't. No, I'm not able to do that. Just saying, so you don't have to go, well, because I have this and I have and this and this. And no, you don't have to make excuses. You can just be like, no, I'm sorry, this isn't my burden to carry. And you don't have to figure out how to help them carry it or do it. It's like, it's not your, like, it's kind of like, you can think of it this way, because some people get, well, I don't want to be rude and I don't want to be, it's like, mind your own business. You know what I mean? Like, think of it that way. Like, really, lots of times you don't want people like telling you how to do things. So be careful that you, in a nice way or unknowingly, like, I don't feel like you're overstepping bounds, but that perspective of, wait a minute, I wouldn't want someone in my business. Like, that's their shit to deal with, not mine. And it's like you've been working at this for a long time. You've been very patient. So don't feel guilty about this. This is not something that's, that you're just lightly saying, I'm putting this burden down, this responsibility that really isn't mine, this obligation. I'm unburdening myself with unnecessary things. Like, you've been carrying this load for way too long. So don't feel at all guilty by saying enough is enough. And like you need to have some downtime. You need a break. You need to take a vacation. You need to walk away from something. Like, you need peace and quiet where you can breathe and meditate, and you don't feel like you're being defensive or being attacked or being like, there's something in some area that's just really wearing on you over, and it's like a relentless energy, and you're just like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I need to breathe. I can't deal with this pressure or this criticism or this carrying other people's burdens. Maybe at work, like, you're always the one doing all the work, and you're just like, no, I need a vacation. I need a different job. I'm out. I'm done. Okay, So now we're going to go on to air signs. So you guys can tell me, I don't know if you like me breaking it down by element. Doing each sign is just a bit much. Really, I do this because I enjoy it, for the joy of it, but it is a lot of time. And with YouTube Red, I get like no revenue from this at all, like none. So it's a tremendous amount of time. And again, I enjoy it and I do it for my own pleasure, but there's a limit, just like the reading I just gave for the earth signs, of how much I can do for how much energy I'm willing to expend for during my week, because I have an actual real full-time job. Okay, so air signs. All right, so you're showing up at the bottom of the deck. We have the Queen of Swords. I think she gets a bad rap sometimes. I mean, the Queen of Swords is so good she's eloquent, she's articulate, she's just an amazing communicator. She can send you to hell and make you look forward to the trip. She is just fantastic. She doesn't get emotional. She doesn't get swept up that way. So she's she's an excellent problem solver. She's just a really funny and she's very interesting. She's very intellectually stimulating and really wonderful conversationalist. So you may be having really interesting conversations this week. People may be asking you for counsel. You're able to sort of, she cuts away all of the extraneous bullshit in a situation and can really get down to, I think I understand all that you're saying and all that's going on, but what if you just tried doing this? And it's usually like, oh, it's actually quite a simple solution when I'm not clouding it with all sorts of emotion or other things that don't really, that it's not the root of the matter. So she'll use this sword to cut away all sorts of bullshit. And you do have the Tower. So this does point to something that's really needed to be dealt with for a very long time that you just haven't, whether you're sort of in denial or you just feel like you don't have the energy to deal with it, or the change is scary, even though you need to make a change or something. That, like, some examples of the Tower, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but say you've been in a relationship and your spouse doesn't treat you well, but then they come home and say, oh, I'm leaving you. It's like you have not been happy in that relationship forever, and you've needed, it's maybe even abusive, and you've needed to leave it. And all of a sudden, like, they come and leave you for someone else or something. So it can be a very upsetting, confusing time, but you were totally unhappy, but for some reason you couldn't make the change you needed to change. So something else came in and changed it for you. You could get fired from a job you hated. It was like torture every day. You were like sick the night before because you just dreaded going to work. But for some reason it was comfortable. You just had decided you weren't going to be able to find another job or whatever, and you get fired or laid off. And it's like, it ends up being the best thing that ever happened to you because you needed to get that job, was making you sick anyway. So those types of things, and it doesn't have to be that big of a scale, but it does tend to point to something quite somewhat significant in some area of your life. that needed to change and you needed to deal with, and just for whatever reason hadn't been able to do that. It also could happen in your environment. We do with the Three of Pentacles. Who else had the Three of Pentacles? The fire signs, I believe. So it could be in the workplace. It could be like there's some sort of shakeup or restructuring, or someone gets fired. So it could happen just around you, not necessarily to you. But this card is pointing to me towards the workplace or some situation in your life where you're working with a group of people. And either one person just quits, or you have to force someone out because they're doing something, they're not pulling their weight, or I feel for some of you like a manager or someone's going to be fired or laid off, and it's going to be something you did not see coming at all, and it's going to shake you just because it makes, okay, well, what else is going to happen? What else is happening here? And you have this Knight of Swords, and it's going to really piggyback what I was saying onto that Queen of Swords. This really calls for a change in perspective, a change in thought, a change in how you're seeing things. So it could be that maybe someone that gets fired or let go, it creates an opportunity for you, or you didn't realize the amount of tension, or only takes sort of one nasty person or difficult person, or one person that calls in all the time, or one person that doesn't pull their weight, to really bring morale down. And that could be in a work situation, in a group situation. Maybe you have one friend that's always just mooching or complaining or anything like that. And if you can sort of cut away that fear and those emotions and just sort of look at the situation analytically, you can say, this is the best damn thing that could have happened to me, because it has relieved me of a burden that I didn't realize how significant it was. It's kind of like if the person leaving you, it's like once you get over sort of the ego reaction of how dare they leave me, I was gonna leave their sorry ass, and you think, no, this is what needed to happen. So try to focus on, take out the emotion and focus on how you're looking at the situation and the opportunity that lays in the wake of the Tower. Okay, and now we're going to go on to the water signs. So I'm going to be shuffling the cards. So if you have earphones on, it can be loud. So yeah, this full moon energy definitely can cause some things to change. Ooh, it looks like for you, it's bringing in some. So, ooh, you guys have some nice stuff going on here. So at the bottom of the deck's the Hanged Man. So for me, this is like, you're going to have maybe an epiphany, some real insight into a situation, into your situation, how you've been going about things. It's almost like you've been stuck in some area of your life. And I'm going to say it maybe is your love life, but also work, because you have two pentacles down here. You've just been stuck. You've just maybe been doing the same thing the same way forever and ever. And it finally occurs to you that maybe I need to change my approach. Maybe I need to have a different perspective and look at things from a different way in order to be able to move forward, to get a promotion, to get a new job. It's like I've been always approaching it the same way and getting a similar response. So it's time to turn things on its head and really do something different this week. So apply for jobs you wouldn't think that you're able to get. Don't let your ego hold you back from asking someone out that you're like, oh, they're prettier than I am, or they wouldn't, stop that negative ego talk this week and really go for something. Do something that maybe is a little out of character for you. You have this beautiful Ace of Pentacles. And maybe think about starting your own business, starting a business from home, starting a business that maybe has to do with health or well-being. It's just like if you put yourself out there or are open to receiving something new and something maybe, how do I say it? Not bigger than you are, but that you felt was out of your league or more than you could attain. That was, just not something you didn't dream about it because you thought, oh, I could never make $1 million. I could never get that job. I could never start my own business. Like whatever that your ego tells you, it's like the universe is like, once you get over that and say, well, why couldn't I? Of course I can. If that buffoon does it, I could do it. And it's like, boom, here's the universe offering you this amazing opportunity. It's like a new, like stepping through this portal kind of. Look at that. It's almost like it's a light, I guess, but in some ways it looks like a pot of gold, doesn't it? At the end of a rainbow, sort of this like beaming light. It's like follow that, follow your dream. It's like stepping through a new, what do I want to say? Just a new doorway, a new way of life. The Two of Cups, you may want to be thinking of starting a business with someone, a partnership. This is absolutely a love card, though. Opening yourself up to love. Maybe you've been closed down and you didn't realize it. And that's what you realized with the Hanged Man, was shifting your perception. Like, wow, I really just am not open. I'm not receiving. I'm not available. I'm closed down and I'm afraid, and I just haven't allowed myself to think you deserve a beautiful, wonderful partner in your life and a relationship. And once you sort of open up and say, I deserve love, I deserve an amazing person, and I'm open to receiving that, then you make room for a partner to come in. And it's someone that, whatever this partnership is, it's you balance each other perfectly. It's give and take. If you're down, they're up, or they will help bring you up. And it's just a constant balancing act where you're both equally involved and equally helping each other out. One of the other signs, I think it was the earth signs, got this reading about like, where are you, whose role is what, and who's doing what, and is it fair and equal, and have people talked about it? So maybe moving forward in relationships, you're going to be more communicative and asking for what you want, or setting boundaries, and that's not in a negative way. And if you instantly thought, oh, I can't set boundaries, and that sounds negative, and I can't ask for what I want, then there's a negative connotation to having boundaries and being able to express your needs in a relationship, whether it's a work relationship or a personal relationship or a romantic relationship. So that's maybe where that perspective needs to change for you, that it's okay to express your wants and needs and dreams and thoughts and what you prefer to do in a relationship, but how you how you guys can work things out. It's like communication and supporting each other will help balance things out. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Let me know if you like these readings by element for the weekly readings, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care.